That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back to some season predictions as we ramp into Navy Week edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, thank you for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications on. You and I both know why. That way you will learn it every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, or at Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. That audio only. You know where you get it, anywhere you want it. Call-in lines. Woo, they're popping. The call-in lines are popping, folks. People are waking back up to football. And it's beautiful to see and beautiful to hear. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you heard and seen. Fighting Irish Wire. Every single day that you are gifted with life, type it in the internets, read all the articles we write, okay? All right. Here's the deal. It's time to get serious about Notre Dame 2023. What's possible on the high end? What's possible on the low end? What might cause this or that? The schedule's tough. Hartman's here. Freeman year 2. Golden year 2. What's it all going to be? We don't know. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's why we're all losing sleep lately. Nobody knows. All right? That's why you play the games. And they're not played on paper or just off recruiting rankings or anything else. Nobody really knows yet what this is going to be. What this iteration of Notre Dame football is going to look like. How much has changed from last year to this year? How much difference does it make that you might actually have a quarterback who could do quarterback stuff? Yeah, I know it's a wild luxury. Wild luxury to be a Notre Dame fan and have a quarterback that can make all the throws. Oh, I know, John, you're asking for a lot. Tone it down. Who do you think you are? Imagine being Notre Dame and going this long without a quarterback that can make regular throws. It's been a long, long time. So how could this go? How could this end up? What is it going to take for this team to be a playoff contender? Also, what does it look like if things go sideways this year? I know nobody wants to think about that. What happens if things go sideways? So I want to avoid cliche, I'm picking this receiver to have this many yards and all that. That's just shots in the dark guesses. I'm not going to do that. Here's how I wanted to do this today. I'm just going to look at injuries aside on the good end, meaning you don't have a bunch of them to your best players. And on the bad end, both ways, for us and against us with the injury bug. Injuries aside, I want to just look at offense and defense. If Notre Dame has a great year, to me, that'd be 11-1 or better. If I'm saying Notre Dame's having a great year this year, the only way Notre Dame has a great year is 11-1 and you're in the playoff with this schedule. That's a great year. 10-2 is not a great year. 11-1 is a great year. 10-2 ain't a great year. How could any Notre Dame fan say 10-2 is a great year? A great year for Notre Dame technically means you're in the playoff. You ain't getting in with 2 losses. So a great year for Notre Dame by definition is 11-1 or 12-0. Let's get that set right now. Let's get that established. 10-2 ain't great. The only thing great for Notre Dame from now on is making the playoff. Have some standards. 10-2, decent year. Good year. Not a nightmare. Better than last year. Great. Ultimate. Not so fast, my friends. So here's what we're going to do. For Notre Dame to have a great year, 11-1 or better, I could hone it down to 3 things that got to happen. Number 1, for Notre Dame to have what I consider to be a great year, the offensive line, Harry, I know he's gone, but it's fun to still say it. This O-line must hold up against the best teams we play. I refuse to blow my voice out again, yelling about the lie that Notre Dame is O-line U, and whenever we're in a biggest game of the year, we rush it for 40 yards. I'm not going to let myself blow out my vocal cords again, bitching about that. You are not O-line U unless the entire unit plays great against the best teams you play in the biggest moments. I feel that is very fair. I can't think of any other way to judge it than that. This offensive line must hold up and be good against the marquee 3. And if you're good against them, you're going to be good against everybody not as good as them. For any of this to be anything. Anything we're proud of to get the Hartman effect and everything, the offensive line has to be good. They got to be good. Okay? That means you're able to run the ball for real life numbers. Real life numbers. If you want to get sick to your stomach, look up how many yards Notre Dame rushed for against Michigan at the Big House. 17 against Miami. The playoff games. Ohio State last year. Not good enough. Failures. Not good enough. Not good enough. So, the number one thing that must happen for us to reach our goals is that O-line's got to be good in the biggest games. Running the ball for power numbers and keeping Hartman upright. Without it, none of this is happening. None of it's possible. If we don't get that, it's 9-3, 10-2, 8-4 again. You need it. Any jump in this team you want Hartman to bring, predicated on those guys doing their job. That's number 1. Number 2 is linked to number 1. The wide receivers have got to develop and emerge quickly with Hartman. That coincides with that O-line and the running game. There is a lot of talent now in that wide receiver room. That doesn't mean they're all going to come together and mature right away and gel with Hartman and everything looks good and we're running around and it's fine. How quickly can these guys get rolling with Hartman and tying in the offensive line piece and the tight end piece and the good running back room and all that? Notre Dame's accomplished a lot lately with a passing game that's basically been the tight ends only. There has been no other passing game stuff you could count on. Tight end only. Run the ball, tight end only. That's it. A whole new world opens up of what's possible for Notre Dame football if you're able to actually throw the ball like a real team. I've said it before, I'll say it again, damn it. Notre Dame fans' minds are poisoned by not good enough quarterback play. It's all we've had so many years, we don't know anything else. That's it. Our minds are tainted. They're poisoned. We do not know what it looks like to have a real life passing game, like a real life one that like good teams have. It's a freaking joke that we've been getting by this long as Notre Dame without real quarterbacks and wide receivers that can make all the plays and all the throws. The whole world's open to Notre Dame. The possibilities are endless if you're able to do this. Got to see it to believe it, though. And if you don't see it, I'm not going to go, oh, Rico Flores, it's your problem. Great House, it's your problem. No. It's an indictment on all of the bad recruiting and non-development that happened in that room for years. That's not on those guys. They're doing the best they can as young guys helping out. If it doesn't go well, I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming all the coaches involved with the lack of recruiting and development in that room the last handful of years. It's been a disgrace. It's been a disgrace. Quarterbacks and wide receivers. We haven't been getting them and developing them near good enough. Even the best one you had in a long time, Ian Book, nowhere near what I needed him to be in the passing game and just visually seeing what needs to happen. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Tough kid, try hard, did a lot of good things, won a ton of regular season games. But with Notre Dame's talent he had to work with, you needed him to be able to physically do more in the passing game than he was and have better receivers out there to help him do it. None of that happened. Give me a real offense. Give me a real offense. One that could run it and throw it. So that's number 2. These wide receivers got to develop a rhythm quickly and be relied upon. And I don't know if that's going to happen. It's a big ask for this wide receiver group. We'll see. And number 3 is simply the defense has got to be as good as advertised by the media. All this freaking summer window. Defense dominating the day. Defensive line rotation out the ass. We got 8 guys we can move in here. Oh, we got the most veteran linebacking starters of all time. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's good or bad half the time. Just because you've been around and have a lot of experience doesn't mean you're great. You got all those guys returning. And then I hear, oh, by the way, we got the best corners we've had 25 years. I wasn't expecting to hear that, you guys. I wasn't expecting to hear that. I did not think the reports out of camp were going to say the defensive line rotation, 7 or 8 deep, they feel good about. The linebackers are going to be one of the best units in America. And a great secondary. What? I mean, I want to see it, but I want to believe it, but geez. That's a lot of praise coming out of camp. I got questions at all 3 of those levels of the defense. Is it So for Notre Dame to have a great year, those are the keys to me. That O-line's got to hold up and be able to provide a run and passing game. These wide receivers got to develop. Hartman's got to help bring them along to be able to threaten these defenses, to force them to play Notre Dame fair. And they can't oversell for the run only. And on 3rd down, double the tight end only. And then that defense, they got to be as good as advertised. They got to be good. Hold up against the run. Be able to get after the passer. Hit home on your blitzes. Not giving up chunk plays. All of that. So for Notre Dame to have a great year, that's what is going to need to happen. Primarily those 3 things first and foremost. Now, on the flip side, if Notre Dame doesn't reach their goals, to me, it's pretty easy why. One will probably be bad injuries. The next is going to be the offensive line. They're going to hold up against most teams we play. But if we don't have a great year, it means when we match up against the best teams, we get overmatched. Those guys don't hold up. Hartman's running for his life. There's no room in the running game. It's 17 Miami, 19 Big House again. Notre Dame's big, top O-line you, and then you don't do diddly poo in your biggest games. And I'm supposed to celebrate you as being awesome. Not doing it. Not doing it. It offends me. So if we don't reach our goals, that'll be a big part of it. The O-line will not hold up in the biggest games, in the biggest moments. And then even if the wide receivers are good enough for it, it's going to screw it all up. Number 2 reason we don't reach our goals, the defense isn't as good as everybody's saying. They're not as good as everybody's saying. You get into big games, you're getting leaned on in the run game. There ain't nobody getting home on 3rd and long to sack the quarterback's face in half. You might have Morrison is the best corner you've ever seen, and then on the other side, the guy's getting burned all day. Doesn't matter how good Morrison is then, right? Number 2 is number 3, Jesus, I'm getting ahead of myself. The O-line, the D not being good enough, and then number 3, man, kind of the same on the plus side list. What if, and I know none of us want to think about this, it's my responsibility to make you. What if you believe Hartman can do everything you need him to do to be a playoff team? The O-line's good enough. Tight end play's going to be solid, I think. Running backs, you got a bunch that I like. Let's say you got all that going for you. But these wide receivers just can't get open. In the biggest games, when they're in a press setup, they can't get open. Like, where does that leave Hartman and his skill set and all that? If those guys aren't able to get open in the biggest games against those defenses, you're in a tough spot again. You're in a tough spot. So I just think Notre Dame's in a position with Hartman to where you could really genuinely try and have like a top 10 offense and put up a bunch of numbers. Blow some teams out. Throw the ball when you want. But those wide receivers are a big part of it. And as athletic as they are and as excited as I am to see them play and mature and develop, you're running out some guys without a lot of experience at all. And you can't just bank on that working out great. There's risk in that. So that's kind of how I see this big picture, man. That's kind of where I see this. I hope that offensive line, I think the defense is going to be okay. Even if they're not great, I think that defense is going to be okay. That O-line, the middle of that O-line, those guards and that center, I need them to hold up just so we could get to the experiment to see how good it could be with Hartman throwing it around and more athletic receivers and everything. Let's just get to the point where I get to see that against the best teams we play. Against the best teams we play. This isn't going to be you're throwing it all over against Central and Tennessee State and you have 600 yards of offense. And then Johnny's going to go in and say, you're awesome. No. Do it against Ohio State. Do it against USC. Do it in Death Valley. The bar's got to be raised. I'm sick of praising Notre Dame for doing good against dumb teams. Play your best against the best or go away. What do you guys think? You agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Am I right or wrong? Or somewhere in the middle? We're going to find out soon. Have a good one.